If you wish, you can swim in the air, walk on water, and conquer the world. But understanding the workings of your own mind is the most challenging task of all. Have you ever wondered why your mind often does the opposite of what you want to do? For example, if you want to quit smoking and make a firm resolution, after some time, your mind pulls you back to that very cigarette. This phenomenon isn't limited to just smoking. In our lives, we encounter numerous such actions and habits that we desire to leave behind. However much we may want to, we are unable to leave behind those habits. But if we make an effort to become an observer of our mind, to become a witness to it, then we can grasp the workings of our mind. Once we understand the workings of our mind, we can either let go of any habit or adopt any new habit as per our choice. For example, waking up during the Brahma Muhurta or any task that seems challenging to us because our mind is the fundamental point behind our habits. We often ignore our mind's workings and later regret not paying attention. Today, in the story I am about to share, you will learn some techniques to understand and observe your mind, enabling you to bring positive changes to your habits. Once, a curious disciple came to his guru's ashram to receive teachings. While he listened less to his guru, he was eager to express himself. During a discussion on meditation one day, the guru explained how to practice concentration. The discussion at the ashram revolved around the importance of meditation. All the disciples at the ashram were attentively listening to their guru's words, trying to grasp the depths of meditation. The guru explained that no matter what type of meditation one practices, to truly delve into its essence, one must awaken love within their own mind. During meditation, one must constantly observe their mind and the thoughts that arise within it. Even before the guru could finish his point, the eager disciple couldn't hold back and spoke up, saying, "Guruji, I have been observing my mind for a long time now. I keenly observe every passing thought with great depth and understanding. However, despite all my efforts, I am not seeing any change in my habits of mind. I often wake up late in the morning and every night while sleeping I think of getting up early in the morning so I can meditate and observe my thoughts, but I am unable to do so. I discuss this with my fellow disciples, but they too don't have any answers. In this ashram, nobody wants to talk to each other, everyone stays silent. There is no discussion, and nobody talks about their thoughts or habits openly. How will I understand my mind and observe its workings if we don't share our thoughts and discuss them with each other? Please, help me in explaining to all these disciples that at least we should share our thoughts with each other and discuss them. Only then can we truly understand our minds and observe our habits. What thoughts run through their minds? What changes do they feel inside during meditation? When meditating, they should discuss these things at least in the ashram. The guru asked the curious disciple why you want to know others' thoughts and how it would benefit him. He asked if the disciple could give him an answer to these questions. The disciple did not expect such a response from his guru. He thought, Guruji is right. What benefit will I get from knowing what others think? Even if I know what others say or share my thoughts in front of them, how will it benefit me? Will I truly understand my mind? He was stuck with his own questions and had no answer. Nevertheless, he still wanted to show off his thoughts in front of others, so he said to Guruji, Guruji, if we come to know what thoughts are going on in others' minds and how they observe those thoughts during meditation, it will make it easier for us to focus on our own meditation. We can also observe our thoughts in the same way and understand our minds better. Don't you think discussing how to deepen meditation and how to observe our own thoughts can benefit other disciples as well? Guruji asked the disciple, imagine some disciple is able to do deep meditation. Even if he tells you how he observes his thoughts and does introspection, do you think it will help you deepen your meditation too? If you're thinking that way, let me tell you that you might end up getting trapped in the same mental thought web you create. If you learn a certain process to enter deep meditation, your mind will try to follow that process. But you won't be able to understand your current mental state. Instead, your mind will get entangled in thoughts related to that process. Guruji explained that you can understand your mind only when you detach yourself from it and observe it separately. To comprehend the workings of your mind, you must stand apart and analyze its movements. If you remain entangled with it, you will never be able to understand it. As you try to understand your thoughts, you get lost in them. Have you ever experienced that? The disciple nodded in agreement and said, "Guruji, when I start observing my thoughts, I end up getting absorbed in them. After some time, I realize that I was trying to observe my thoughts, but then I get entangled with them again. I try to become a witness to them, but after a while, I get lost in them once more." Guruji explained to all the disciples, just like a person filled with anger cannot observe their anger, they become one with their anger. He considers his anger as his identity, and that's why he can never see how anger is affecting his mind or how it will make him unhappy. He lacks the ability to separate himself from his anger and observe its impact. There are practices for gaining this ability, so you can become a detached observer and see everything in its true essence. When you perceive the true nature of all things and thoughts, you understand their impermanence. Then you realize that everything is transient in this world. But consciousness is permanent, it always stays with the person. It remains alive forever, it never dies. This consciousness is never tied to any object. The more you expand your consciousness, the better you become at seeing things in their true nature. Thus, the ability to detach yourself from things increases with the expansion of your consciousness. So, work on elevating your consciousness so that you can see the true essence of everything and be free from worries. The disciple asked, "Gurudev, I understand some of your teachings, but one thing is not clear to me. What do I need to do to elevate my consciousness and become more aware of my thoughts?" In response to this query, the Guru advised, "Be quiet and start observing your thoughts, your mental processes, and your experiences. Your experiences come and go, they don't always stay with you. When you have a pleasant experience, your mind desires to have that same experience again and again. In pursuit of reliving that pleasant experience, your mind becomes restless. Your possessions and habits become subservient to your mind's cravings. This is true for someone who smokes cigarettes, consumes alcohol, or adopts any bad habit. All these things enslave their minds. If you want to free your consciousness from your mind, first, learn to remain silent and still. Your habit of talking and listening to other experiences will fill up your mind more, but to liberate your consciousness, you need to learn to empty your mind. When you practice this, you will witness the true nature of your consciousness. You will understand how to elevate your consciousness by being silent and still, always remaining aware and not getting entangled in the mind's distractions. This is how you can stay connected to your true essence. But we have forgotten it and become enslaved to our minds. That's why we need to free our consciousness from the control of our minds. To do this, start observing the thoughts in your mind while remaining silent. Begin to feel those experiences. When you become the observer of your mind, you start noticing that one thought follows another, and another, just like a crowd walking on the street. People are moving in crowds. When one person goes, another comes, and when the second person goes, a third one comes. Similarly, in the realm of our minds, numerous thoughts come and go, but we don't get attached to them. Instead, we become witnesses and simply observe them. As we keep observing, slowly all the thoughts start dissolving, and then our mental space becomes completely empty. Now, for the first time, we become aware of our consciousness, and we realize that our true joy lies in our consciousness, and to remove the disturbances from the realm of our mind, it is essential. There is no need to work hard for it, you just have to keep observing those thoughts. When one thought comes, let it go, and when the second thought comes, let it go too. Just keep observing, be a witness, remain an observer, and as you keep observing, the thoughts start dissolving on their own. But for this, you need to practice being silent and introspect your thoughts. You have to understand the emotions of your mind. When you will experience anger, when you feel happy, you have to observe it separately. Whenever we get angry, feel happy, or experience any aversion towards someone, we become agitated, and it is because of this agitation that we cannot observe those emotions separately. But if we remain calm and composed without getting agitated, we can understand the emotions of our mind and know them. When we start cherishing the emotions in our minds, we realize that no emotion stays forever. If one emotion dominates, another one takes its place. Happiness doesn't last forever, neither does sorrow, anger doesn't always come, and neither does pleasant feelings. When we start understanding these things, we gain clarity. So, all these emotions start dissolving from within, and only pure joy remains inside us. Pure joy is what we call Paramananda or supreme bliss, and that is our true nature. Therefore, in the movements of your mind, don't get involved yourself, just stand back and keep observing the movements. As you keep observing, the movements of your mind will completely dissolve, and when nothing remains, that's when we can bring our understanding and perspective into everything. We can perform every task with full attention. In reality, entering into meditation happens when the mind dissolves. As long as our mind is in control, we cannot enter into meditation because our mind will decide when we meditate and when we don't. This applies to every activity. But once our mind dissolves, we can meditate on every task. And then, meditation becomes our true nature. It transforms into pure consciousness. Listening to this profound discussion, all the disciples became delighted. However, the Guru warned them, saying, "Your delight is also an emotion of your mind. You find joy in listening to these teachings, and that's why you are happy. But these teachings won't always be available, and that's the reason your mind won't always remain delighted. If you want to discover real joy, a bliss that remains untouched, then you have to be tranquil, devoid of emotions, and free from all feelings. And now, start observing your emotions. After that, you will realize that consciousness is eternal, it never dies. Everything else is impermanent, they will end, perish, and fade away. Nothing in this world is eternal except for our consciousness. When our life force leaves our body, our consciousness is the first thing to depart. That's why consciousness never dies. The Guru then instructed everyone to practice meditation, focusing on their thoughts and emotions without getting entangled with them. He advised them to stand apart and observe without getting absorbed. Although it may be challenging, with practice, they would become proficient in it. After this, the Guru signaled everyone to meditate. So, how did you like the story? Please let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. See you in the next story. Until then, take care and stay blissful.